What is up, Starseeds? It's Sid, and today I am going to be talking about recycling. So, sadly, this is something that us as people need to learn how to do properly. You might see this video and think, I know how to recycle. I put glass, paper, plastic into the recycling bin, and someone comes and picks it up and it's recycled. That's not really how it works. It's a lot more complicated than that. However, there are some things that you as a consumer can do to make this process easier for the people who work in recycling facilities and just for the earth in general, because you're not doing it properly, and it's not your fault because no one taught us this. But now that you're hearing about it, you can improve how you put things into your recycling bin and how you recycle and how you just consume in general to help the planet out, because this should not be your responsibility. The responsibility should be on the producer of these products to put them in easily recyclable packaging, or to have more of a circle economy where you can refill these things and have bulk stores, but that's just not where we're at yet as a society. In the United States, only 35% of its waste is recycled or composted, and in other areas of the world, these stats are much higher. Another statistic I think is important to mention is that only 100 companies are responsible for over 70% of our global emissions. Okay, let's get into how to recycle. So, glass is pretty easy to recycle. Just don't recycle broken glass, because I think a big thing people just forget to think about is people who are working at these recycling facilities, and you can't recycle broken glass, I don't think, anywhere, because it's dangerous for the people who are working there. However, glass is an awesome material because it can be recycled an infinite, as far as we know, amount of times. It can be turned into new glass without any virgin glass being added to it. This old glass can be recycled into new products from that same glass without anything being added. So it's awesome. As far as we know, it's infinitely recyclable. And then aluminum and tin, cans like this, or any items that are of this material are pretty easy to recycle. They can be recycled a lot of times as well. So this is a good material to buy if you're planning on recycling it. Of course, we want to reuse things. I have so many glass jars literally just laying around everywhere, even some plastic things that I think I can put stuff in the future and reuse them, repurpose them. If you can do that before you recycle it, please, because a bunch of what you put in the recycling bin, if you throw in something that you didn't clean properly or just can't be recycled at your facility, that can contaminate the whole batch, and the batch being possibly the whole recycling truck that it was in, or the whole conveyor belt that they saw it on. Whatever the batch means for them, it can contaminate the whole batch, and it all goes to landfill, which is obviously what we don't want if we're recycling this object, right? So we need to make sure that we're recycling properly, even though it shouldn't be our responsibility, but hey, we're gonna suck it up and be good citizens and do it to help the planet. So paper and cardboard, you can think of as the same material when recycling, because cardboard is made out of paper. If the facility takes cardboard, they take paper, and vice versa, 99% of the time. Check with your local facilities, please. But I do want to mention that when recycling these, please take out any staples, and also make sure that, especially pizza boxes, this is a big thing. I used to recycle pizza boxes, and now I know that anything that has grease on it cannot be recycled. So if you have a greasy pizza box, you can rip off the parts that aren't greasy and recycle those if the pizza box is cardboard, but you can't recycle anything that has any food on it. So if you got a cake in a cardboard box and the whole top of it is covered in frosting and you cannot clean it off, that's garbage. Anything with food, grease, anything that is wet at the time that they're going through the recycling. So if something gets wet and it can dry and it's fine, then you can recycle it once it's dry, but don't throw anything soaking wet in the recycling, please. All right. Also, make sure that any of the plastics you are recycling, or really just any material that you are recycling, please clean out. So if it is a container that has food in it, if you're recycling a peanut butter jar, you need to clean that out because food can't be recycled, okay? During the recycling process, these materials go in a machine that gets very hot and they break down the materials, they melt them and then transform them into new materials. But you can't have food in there. You can't have laundry detergent in there. You need to clean out your plastic laundry detergent jugs. If you're still using those, please don't use those. But if you do, wash them out when you recycle them. Wash out any food, any cleaning products, anything that's in containers or items you need to wash. They need to be clean. You don't have to take stickers off because they do go in a machine that gets super hot and melts them down. The stickers and the glue holding the stickers, they're gonna just be like incinerated. So you don't have to take stickers off of items, but you do have to wash them out and take off any staples. Also, if you have usually a bottle and the bottle cap is a different type of plastic, just separate those. Think of the people at the facilities. That will make it a lot easier on them if you have a plastic type 1 and then a plastic type 2 or type 5 lid. Unscrew that lid so the people don't have to unscrew it, okay? Sorry for talking in some circles, but it's a complicated topic. So complicated that you really need to look online at your local city's website. Call them if you want. I just had a very nice conversation with a lady that works for my city, and I also looked at their website. And she gave me some good information that wasn't on the website, and that is where the recycling goes. I asked if it went to the next city over because they have a pretty big recycling facility there, but she told me it went somewhere that I didn't even know the name of. So it must be pretty far away. And that's not very sustainable or eco-friendly that they're driving this truck all the way far enough that I don't know this city's name. And I know the cities around me. If I don't know the name, it's at least a half hour, if not an hour or two away. I'll let you guys know. I'll put it right over here when I figure out where this place is. I'll look it up when I'm done filming. But sometimes these trucks get driven a long ways away to recycling facilities, and if they're driving that far, chances are it's going to a good or better recycling facility, a place that can recycle more than the one near you can. So it is a good thing. If it evens out with the travel, I'm not sure. It all depends case to case. Go online, look at your city's website, and go to the recycling area on their website. Usually they have one. If not, then call your city or town and ask them what can be recycled. One, where does the recycling go? Because that's good to know, and then you can look at that facility's website or call that facility, but they should also have the information on what can be recycled in your area, in your city or town. And I am lucky enough to live in a city that accepts plastic type 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7. So the only 2 types of plastic they don't accept is type 3 and type 6, which is really hard to recycle. So let's talk about the different types of plastic. On the bottom or somewhere on every plastic item, or at least most plastic items, materials that are 100% plastic, they will have a little recycling sign and a number inside of it. It's kind of hard for you guys to see because it's not focusing, but this is type 2. Let me explain type 1 really quick. It's usually like a water bottle, usually a clear plastic. So type 2, like I just showed you, is generally like a colored plastic, like this is colored white. All right, and then type 3 is most commonly known for being like PVC pipes, but it can also be things like cling wrap or even clothing. It can also be bottles, so be sure to check the type of plastic. type 4 is known for being those thin plastic bags you get from literally almost every store, but it can also be bottles similar to plastic type 3. Type 5 is known for being things like plastic straws and bottle caps, but there is a reoccurring theme of different types of plastic being able to be anything. Type 6 is styrofoam. Yes, styrofoam is probably the worst invention in human history. It is a type of plastic that is super lightweight, so it can usually fly out of recycling trucks if you even live in an area that accepts styrofoam, because most places don't. It's like 90-something% air, and it's really hard to recycle because it's so lightweight. That's the same reason that my area doesn't take any thin plastic bags, and I don't know personally of any area or any recycling facility that does. I know they must be somewhere out there, but plastic bags are pretty much impossible to recycle because they get caught in the machines sorting through the materials. So if you have any plastic bags from the grocery store or any store you go to, please just save them and reuse these plastic bags. Don't throw them away. Do not put them in recycling if your recycling doesn't take it, and chances are that they don't. Even if it is that type of plastic that they accept, plastic type 4, a lot of facilities will not accept these bags, even if they accept plastic type 4, like my facility does. Okay, and then plastic type 7 is all other kinds of plastics. Things like nylon, acrylic, and most facilities don't take these. Also, mixed materials. So there are so many types of mixed materials, especially now with these pouches that all these kids have and they're a mixed material. Oh my gosh, it drives me crazy. So there are some facilities that take mixed materials. My facility doesn't, but some do. It's just a lot harder to recycle these mixed materials because during the recycling process, you need to break these materials down to their virgin forms. If two materials are together in a product, those need to be separated. That's a lot harder. So not a lot of facilities do this. Hopefully in the future, we can either have more facilities that do this or just have companies that don't make those products in that packaging, because why would a company just say, hey, let's just make this thing that's super hard to recycle, let's combine these materials just because it's cheaper? Think about the grandkids. Think about the grandkids. Okay, so to sum up this video, I think it would just be wise for humans to be conscious of what they're buying, be conscious of what they're consuming, because everything you buy, you consume, and be conscious of the waste you create. Always reduce when buying. Don't buy things that are in things that are hard to recycle. Just don't buy things. Buy secondhand, because that is the most sustainable option. If we can buy things that have already been made, we're not supporting these big companies who are using packaging that aren't recyclable or are super hard to recycle. We don't want to support that. We want to support companies that are small businesses that are using sustainable practices and sustainable packaging and just have overall sustainable products in general. We want to move towards sustainability. We want to move towards a circle economy where we can go to bulk grocery stores, bring our reusable bags, have what we need, and not have to recycle anything, because the recycling system does a lot of damage on the planet. And obviously it's better to recycle these materials that we don't want in the landfills, but if we can eliminate that altogether, that would be much better. So always recycle before throwing it in the garbage to go to the landfill, but if you can prevent recycling, that would be the best. If you do recycle, please recycle properly. Now that you've seen this video, please go online to your city or town's website and look at the recycling program. Look at what can and can't be recycled. Look at the specific types of plastic, because that's where it gets messy. And learn what items are what number plastic. Think about the grandkids. Think about the grandkids. Okay, so there's also a lot of other different types of materials that can be recycled. I'm talking big ticket items like couches, electronics, so see when and where things like that can be recycled in your area. Also remember that if something says it's compostable, you have to compost it for it to biodegrade in a timely manner. Thank you for watching. Live sustainably. If you're going to buy products instead of buying secondhand, then buy nice things that you will always use. Do not use plastic water bottles. Use a reusable water bottle. Drink your good thoughts. I just spoiled myself and got this copper water bottle because it's going to last me a long time because I love copper, as you guys know if you've watched some of my other videos. All right. See you guys next time. Love and light, and the hybrid children are coming soon.